Hey everyone, this is Jen and you're watching BPD Woman. On this channel, you will learn how to more effectively live with your borderline personality disorder. Or if you have complex PTSD, or if you are just simply a highly sensitive person or find that you have trouble managing your emotions, you are also in the right place. My aim is to provide positive solution-based approaches to treating your emotional dysregulation, and I heavily focus on borderline personality disorder. And using my own experience after being diagnosed 20 years ago, I offer these approaches in connection with DBT skills, which is the official modality of borderline personality disorder. And while I am not a therapist or a psychologist, I can answer one very important question that most of those, 99% of those folks cannot, which is, what is it like to live with borderline personality disorder? And as I mentioned, I was diagnosed 20 years ago. And since then, I have enrolled myself in about a half a dozen DBT classes. I have workbooks, books, researched group therapy, one-on-one. You get the idea. I'm super committed. I have a YouTube channel. And just as a point to not being a psychologist, while that information that they offer is completely valuable, and without it, I would not be in the recovered state that I am today, I must also stress that having a degree does not mean that you understand having the disorder. And in that regard, I hope that that is something that I can give to you. So if that all sounds good, please do hit subscribe and the bell below so you never miss a beat. I produce anywhere from 3 to 5 videos each week, all offering something new. So let's get started. So yesterday I posted a video entitled Stop Recognizing Angry Escalation and Learning How to De-Escalate It, and I used a personal experience, and sometimes I'll post these personal vlogs, so I guess you could kind of consider today's video one of those. And so today I want to talk about a very similar component of what happens when you feel and become emotionally dysregulated, especially where anger is concerned, which is a tough emotion for me to manage at times. And that is shame, self-doubt, and spiraling, how they're connected and what you can do. I'll offer you some tips today on how to get yourself out of those. So why do we feel shame, self-doubt, and spiraling, and why are they all interconnected? Well, if you look at the DSM, and if you live with a disorder, you know this off the top of your head, but that in living with the borderline personality disorder, you know that you live in a state sometimes where you're not sure of your identity, you're not sure of what you want, who you want to be around, what your goals are. Sometimes you may, change your career suddenly, which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with changing your career. It doesn't mean that you're impulsive. I mean, I certainly changed my career. But, and sometimes you struggle with your, what they call an unstable self-image. And so your self-image also encapsulates things like what your goals are, how you want to act within your morals, how you like to handle yourself with friendships, combined with a low self-esteem, which is tied into the invalidation part of borderline. And that means that you often don't trust your interpretations. You look to others to give you the signals of what a situation may play out. You may be like, I don't trust myself. Like, hey, what do you think of this text message I sent? Or, can I relay a conversation that I had to you at work, right? And then finally, you have black and white thinking, right? So these are all 3 criteria of having BPD: the black and white thinking, the unstable self-image, and the inability to unself-validate. I would say that's kind of like that emotional lability component in a way, although you could tie it to other things. And so you find yourself then sometimes really heavily second-guessing the things that you've done, or what someone might call armchair quarterback, or Monday morning quarterback, something like that. And essentially what those labels mean is that now you're going back and you're rethinking it and you're playing the tapes like, well, did I do this right? Like, I don't know, should I have said this? And so by nature, I think if you have borderline, you deal with a lot of self-doubt because your interpretation of life, of experience, has been heavily skewed by the invalidation that you, I'm going to say suffer. Yeah, I'm going to choose suffer. That you suffered at the hands of your caregivers or whoever you were primarily with in the formative years of your life. So 0 to 18, okay? So now you find it hard to trust yourself, hard to trust your interpretations. And so where does this all lead? Well, it leads to a lot of second guessing. And if you find yourself second guessing, then you may start to come up with conclusions like, that was stupid. Why did I do that? Why did I say this? This was stupid. Oh God, I shouldn't have done this. And enter in that black and white thinking where you now say, well, since I did this, I'm a shitty person, and God, my borderline's never going to get better. I'm a dope, right? All this harsh language, or what I like to call the tape, starts coming out. And so that's where the shame comes in, right? And the I'm never going to get better, all of that, what Dr. Daniel Fox calls the core content, or what I call the tapes. The tapes or the core content are the beliefs that you have built some of your maladaptive thinking and behavior patterns on, that inform and that you seek to reinforce throughout your life. So some, like some of my core beliefs are, I'm not safe around other people. I have to be hyper vigilant. Now, I mitigate these, right? There's a way to mitigate these. You learn to be around people that you can trust. But so, and if you then find yourself that you are now shaming yourself, that can lead into a spiral. And a spiral is a couple of things. Namely, I call it the emotional Ferris wheel or the emotional roller coaster. And what it serves to do is compound emotion into emotion into emotion. And so it'll look something like this. And I'm going to use my experience from yesterday, because today I am having some self-doubt from yesterday. I am being a little ashamed of myself, and I am feeling a little bit spiraled, and not like out of control, but I can feel my mood kind of dipping. And so I'm going to offer some perspective on why that happens and ways to get out of it. And so here are my quick fire thoughts. All right, let's get into it. So yesterday I had a really start of a relaxing day, and you can find this video in the one that I posted yesterday, which is the emotional vlog. I'll put up a link to that. And I was walking out to walk my dog. I was in a really great mood, very relaxed. I saw somebody bumping into my car. I asked them to stop. That ensued into a verbal shouting match. Then I went to go walk with a friend as scheduled, but now I was feeling dysregulated, and then she basically invalidated me. And so I was like at a point where I needed to use my distress tolerance skills, and I was like, okay, well, I have to go. Like, this is not healthy for me. And anyway, so I did. But in the process of yesterday, like, I felt really angry. I didn't do anything hurtful to anyone. Like, I didn't say anything that I regretted, that I care about. I didn't write anything on the internet. I didn't, do anything destructive. I stuck basically to my plan for the day. So, I'm listing things here that are wins. They're good things. And, there are no gold stars in therapy. So you do have to be your own self-motivator and cheerleader along the way. Like, hey, I did handle this good. Previously I would have handled it this way, but now I've handled it this way. And I'm like really happy with the way I did that. Okay. So, but today a few things are going on, and one is that I'm PMSing. So, and I knew that, like, I'm like, okay, why am I feeling so angry? Why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling tired? Why do I want to stay in bed all day? I'm like, oh, right, I'm PMSing, and that will definitely impact the way that I feel. Okay, combined with that, then I'm second guessing like some of the interactions that I had with my friends yesterday. Like, oh, did I really need to complain that much in my text? Like, and these texts didn't go on and on. They were grievances, but a little bit of my shame tied in is that I don't want to complain as much this year in 2020. That's on my goal board, and I did a goal setting video, so check that one out. So woke up today, but I felt a lot of shame. And then I had like some dreams last night that were equally upsetting. And so that played into like the mood that I woke up in this morning. And I would say my mood today is very apathetic and like, and kind of sad. Like I really don't want to talk to anyone, and that's fine. Like you can have days where you just need like to decompress and be by yourself. That doesn't mean you're self-isolating. Now, if you do that 10 days in a row or 5 days in a row, like, yeah, you may want to like look at that. But, there's nothing wrong with taking a day or two just by yourself. That's totally fine. They call that a vacation. So, anyway, I just, the tapes that started for me today were, you're stupid, why can't you get this under control? You're never going to have what you want, you're going to be single forever, you're going to die alone, like what if you get sick, who's going to take care of you, right? Like all these things, no one's going to be around you, blah, blah, blah. And so that's what I'm feeling. And so let me offer now some tips how to combat those feelings. Okay, so for starters, the first tip that I recommend is hitting pause on those negative tapes. Just hit pause, right? So, nope, if you find yourself starting to go down that shame spiral, negative thinking path, then, by the way, Borderline Woman's dog is here with me for support. So she approves of the following tips. Hit pause, just simply say, you know what? That line of thinking is not helping. I'm not going to think this way. And so I'm going to go distract myself with something else. I'm not. And then the more that if you keep finding that you keep going back to those negative thoughts over and again, just simply shake the Etch-a-Sketch, hit pause, and keep training yourself to go back to something else, distracting something else, or simply like saying like, hey, no, fuck you. That's not how I feel. Like, I'm not a loser. Okay. Or, you could say something like, I don't know that I'm always going to be alone. Like, what am I, a fortune teller? You can be firm like that. Another way to sort of stop the spiral part of the, like, did I do this right? Like, why did I say this? Like, my friend will never like me, is again to remind yourself that when you're feeling emotionally dysregulated, and at this point, while emotion is high, your logic is low. So when your emotion is high, your logic is low. I say this a bunch. And that means that it's a good time in that moment to say, okay, you know what? It's time just to do something nice for me. A bath, a long walk with my dog, a long read in the sun with a book that I'm enjoying, right? Just something to take care of yourself, to just kind of get those good feelings, those endorphins flowing, those I love me. I've created a video how your phone can be used to help your BPD. Check that out. You could go and look at your I love me list, or your photos, your recent photos or interactions with people. Remember that based on one event, like no one's not going to love you forever or like you forever. I mean, maybe not even based on 10 negative events, right? Like, you have to look at a long period of time to, why are you whining? Come here. You have to look at a long period of time before you can say, okay, like, this is how this is going to turn out. And ambiguity is hard. So you got to remind yourself, okay, I don't know what the outcome is. I'm going to stop this unhealthy thinking. It's not doing me any good. And instead, I'm going to focus on something positive that I want to do, like reading that book in the sun. Insofar as, so that's how to stop that spiral part. Insofar as stopping the shame, it's helpful then to use the opposite action skill, which I've created a video about. Using your opposite action skill in order to challenge your mind and body to begin feeling in another way. So, challenge the body and the mind will follow. That means go exercise, go do yoga, take the hot bath. And eventually listen to comedy. That's a great one. I mean, if you start laughing out loud, you find it very difficult, in my opinion, to be sad. I mean, listen to a comedy channel for 30 minutes and then let me know if after that 30 minutes is up, if you still feel as sad, right? You're just trying to challenge the current mood you're in. And insofar as the self-doubt, how to get rid of your self-doubt or challenge your self-doubt is to say, this is the decision I made. It's in the past now. I'm okay with this decision. And some decisions you're going to be, more proud of than others, but life is not black and white. And other people do understand that. Like, often since we're so highly sensitive, we really think a lot more on how our interactions have played out more than the average person has. They've likely forgotten about the interaction. It's true. They probably have forgotten about it. Maybe not, but maybe they have. And then ways to build on your self-confidence will also help combat the self-doubt that you feel, right? So that means doing things that, give you a sense of mastery, practicing one of your DBT skills, right? Oh, I did that today, right? Add that to your I love me list, which is a list of accomplishments that you can look back on in a hurry. It's hard to see the forest when you're focused on the tree. And so you want to look at all of the great things that you've done to help put that feeling of shame or spiraling or self-doubt into perspective. And so I'll do that right now. So I'm feeling like my friends don't like me because I was angry, and I am never going to be with anyone. I'm always going to be alone. And so this is the way I'm going to challenge that. The way that I'm going to challenge that is I'm going to say, I don't know what they feel. That was one day, one experience out of dozens of really super positive experiences that I've had with people. They are not going to look at me in a black and white way. And if they did, that wouldn't be a fair way to look at me. And it's highly unlikely that they're angry, upset with me, and that most likely I'm being harder on myself. What I'm going to do today to make myself feel better is I am about to go take my dog on a nice walk outside in the sunshine. I am going to work tonight. I am going to take a nice bath and do some self-care like working out and yoga. And while I'm working tonight, listen to comedy to lift my moods. And I'm also going to be extra nice to myself and to others, which is going to be a mood booster in itself. So these are some of the tips that I use. And then, I'm not going to probably feel, and especially if you're feeling physically compromised, like I am with PMS, or if you have the flu or a cold, or if you're hungry or lonely or tired or any of those halts that you may feel, then remind yourself you're not going to feel 100% today, but I'll feel 50% better, and then maybe by tomorrow I'll feel 75% better. Don't forget that you have a slow return to your emotional baseline if you have BPD. So it takes you longer to come down from that feeling, whatever it may be. Okay, so if you have any questions, please drop them below, or comments. If you feel too shy to leave them in the comments, you can also email me. It's an anonymous email. It's called BPD Woman. That's all I put. I don't put my real name. And you can email me at womanbpd@gmail.com, WOMANBPD@gmail.com. And I will get back to you, although I can't promise you the length of the email or how fast I can get, but I will respond to you for sure. Also, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, but definitely your comments are super helpful to me and to others, so keep them coming. And until I see you next time, in everything that you do, please be effective.